Let's take a gander at the fantasy basketball waiver wire. Who is being added and dropped? Are they the right moves? Who else can we look at? What are the things that are happening that we need to know, Michael Bolton?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and okay, everybody, tuck your pants into your socks. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms, so we are here and ready to talk waiver wire for fantasy basketball. We might as well just go straight into this right now because we've got things to talk about. And it doesn't mean a huge amount of news drop overnight, I don't think. We've got an update on Brandon Miller, which is positive. He's doing some work, and there's still nothing. Like, it's still the dreaded no timetable to return, which, again, do not misinterpret that. It doesn't mean anything. It means they're not telling you anything. That is all. That doesn't mean months. It might mean days. We have seen multiple times last season that we would see someone no timetable to return. A day later, they're playing. All right, it's the foreseeable future of injury speak. So just, again, not saying that Miller is out for the year or Miller is back in a minute. Just those comments don't mean anything. And the fact that he's doing work and getting workouts in is encouraging. So we'll see where that goes. Let's look at the most added players on Basketball Monster over the last 48 hours. The number one player there is Josh Minott, who's had one of the biggest 1 or 2 day rises that I've seen really in recent memory. Why? Because Minott has, for the entire time that he has been in the NBA, had a fantastic fantasy skill set, an ability to rack up huge permanent numbers, but has never really gotten an opportunity. And now he does. We have absolutely no idea whether he will hold on to this opportunity. I thought for sure that he would be rostered in a massive way on Yahoo. 3%. 3. If you play in a Yahoo league, if you play right now, RN, as the kids would text, can you please comment? Like, is he available in your league? 3% is crazy to me. On our tracking metrics on Basketball Monster, 71% is up to now. Minott for the season, the numbers aren't great, but remember, he started one game. He's played 56 minutes over 4 games. As you can see there, he's played 19 minutes a game. He's 143rd in categories, 164th in points leagues. He can very easily be a top 100 player if he holds a starting job. Now, I don't know that he will. In fact, I have very little confidence. But he gets steals, he can block shots, he can hit threes, he can rebound, he can pass a little bit. There's going to be stuff that falls off from here, but this is the idea of getting ahead of it. You don't do it for Hugo Gonzalez. You don't do it necessarily for any of these, some Jalen Tysons, for example. But someone like Minott, who has the ability and has the underlying fantasy diversity that we look for, you do it. And it probably doesn't work. And I am very surprised that people haven't. Royce O'Neale, the second most added player. O'Neale's value drops with the likely return of Jalen Green today. That is not confirmed yet, but it is the likely return of Jalen Green. Now, O'Neale was still doing pretty well in those games that Brooks played, but it really elevated when Dillon Brooks was out. So he could still be okay. I get why he's been added. I understand it, and it does make sense. And if you did add him, you hold him on Wednesday, and let's see what happens. The third most added player is Russell Westbrook. Cool. I don't think that I would have prioritized Westbrook. That's okay. I don't mind it, though. If he's playing 30 minutes, then yes, that is what you do. You add him. And he might do that. The Kings have rotated starters basically every game for the last week and a half since the season started, but maybe Russ bamboozles them into keeping him in that role. So maybe I don't hate it that much. Maybe it's actually I don't hate it at all. I wasn't rushing to do it, but people are adding Russell Westbrook. I don't think there's any way of it holding when Keegan Murray is back. It probably does hold when Nick Clifford returns, honestly, but it's gonna kill everybody else on the team. And someone left a comment when I talked about Westbrook yesterday, as they always do. They're saying, "Well, I don't understand why you're talking about he's being a bad player when he's on the court, because for fantasy it's all about getting numbers." True, he's bad at a lot of things in fantasy as well, with the dreadful percentages. But the problem is if he's continually a bad player on the court, in the end, you don't get minutes. And you don't get the opportunity to rack up stats. And that becomes the problem. So that's where the tie-in is. Yeah, if you play 30 minutes on the court and it's terrible every game, but you still keep playing 30 and you're racking up stats, yeah, we love that. That's great. We get those numbers. That's fantastic. But if you're out there causing problems for everyone else around you and the team's losing, then you won't get the minutes. And that's where the problem lies with Westbrook and the fit with other guys. D'Angelo Russell, the fourth most added player, I think with the absence of Gafford and Lively now, that they're going to have to give him those 30-plus minutes or 30-ish minutes, and he's going to have rough shooting nights, but I understand it. I think he's going to be on and off rosters all season, while the fifth most added player is Kelly Oubre. I don't really understand why he wasn't rostered anyway. He should have been drafted in the last rounds of drafts. He wasn't. It's being corrected now, so whoop-de-doo. The most added players on Yahoo. Some different names. Yahoo uses a different time reporting period here. Number one there is Colin Gillespie, which would have been even better had Jalen Green not been in. But again, I don't know whether Green is playing, but it looks like his return is coming. Oh, by the way, speaking of random returns, Bilal Coulibaly is returning today. Do you need to go and rush to add Bilal? I actually don't think so. I don't mind doing it. I don't think that he's guaranteed a starting spot or enough value in fantasy leagues. But if you want to do it, you can try it. But what that does to George, Middleton, how they use him is going to be something interesting. Anyway, Colin Gillespie is being added in a lot of spots on Yahoo, which is, again, fine, especially for Wednesday. But I do think that Green returning probably limits some of that. Ryan Rollins, yeah, look, just needs to be rostered. Should have been rostered immediately when Kevin Porter Jr. went down. Go back to it. The next one is an interesting name. Jared Vanderbilt is the third most added player here. And Luka is out. LeBron is out. Marcus Smart has been out. Vanderbilt, his season-long numbers, they don't jump out. They don't jump out here, but he's 133rd. 165th in 22 minutes. If he gets 26, which he could, then we're talking. 2% rostered only. He's available everywhere. 6 and 6. They're not good numbers, but 2 steals. Interestingly high free throw percentage numbers, but what he is as a player is a rebounds guy and a steals guy. And he gets some sneaky out of position assists as well. And if he does get the opportunity to start another game, you can get something short-term at least out of Jared Vanderbilt. It's not a long-term play, it's a short-term play. Trey Jones is the next one. That's just, I don't get why you're seeing a surge now. This is just one of the most obvious ads that exists. It has been since opening night. Just very simple. Don't overcomplicate that. Incredibly easy and straightforward. And the next most added player is Mr. Black, which I don't really get it. It is true that the last 2 games for Black have been pretty good. I do understand that. I don't know that I would have highly prioritized Anthony Black. In anything that's 175 player league, yeah, like sure. And we've seen that he is the priority over Tyus Jones, and he gets a sizable usage injection when Suggs sits on a back-to-back. But overall, he is inconsistent, and he is still a reserve. So I'm not sure he's an incredibly high priority guy, but it is trending in the right direction for Black, so that's okay. We'll come back and talk about dropped guys and must-roster players in a sec. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It is their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. Whether you're running or lifting, cross-training with your favorite instructors, this is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan and stay motivated and reach peak performance. The Peloton IQ system gives real-time strength coaching, actively tracking your reps, correcting your form, and helping you make sure you get the right weights for the right results. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. We are doing the waiver wire here for fantasy basketball, and this is Locked On Fantasy Basketball. In case you didn't know, I'm talking like I'm on the radio. Not that I've ever been on the radio. That's not true. I have been on the radio when I was young, but you don't care about that. Let's talk about players that have been dropped and whether they make sense. We don't need to talk a lot about this. Sam Merrill, injured, cool, bye. Yegor Dioman, missed the last game. Production's iffy. There will be times where we use Dioman during the season, but that's not now. Again, Ben Shepherd's been dropped. I understand. He wasn't very good, but I would have persisted just given the opportunities. No Nampard, no Mathurin, no McConnell, no Halliburton, no Jones. I would have tried to persist on that. Bryce Sensabaugh. Didn't realize he was rostered in that many spots. What was concerning about Sensabaugh last game was his minutes went way down. We got 37 minutes or whatever it was of Svi Mykhailiuk and like a 12 of Bryce Sensabaugh. He is in that 3-point streaming territory and not a must. And then Obi Toppin with the foot stress reaction. That's obviously terrible and not great moving forward. So yeah, easy drop. What about the Yahoo most dropped players? Number 1 is intriguing. It is the Hong Kong mattress. I think I've been talking about the Hong Kong mattress so much the last night on my YouTube recommended videos that I got like American rapper reacts first time to Cason. I went, all right, here we go. And somehow he'd never heard of Cold Chisel, but he knew who Jimmy Barnes was. And I don't know how he knew who Jimmy Barnes was, but he did. Check out the video. His name's Black Pegasus, this guy. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know why that came up. But anyway, Hong Kong mattress, Cason Wallace. There we go. I understand this. If you aren't desperate for 1.6 steals or whatever it is he's going to give you, I don't know what else. I don't know what the point is. We've seen Caruso back. We're still waiting on the Bronco, who, again, I think it's middle of November for him, but I'm not sure. We're waiting on Isaiah Joe. And AJ Mitchell stepping up. I like Wallace. I think that Wallace is he's the new Kobe White, Emmanuel Quickley, Cole Anthony, Peyton Pritchard guy to me. The guy that's a bench player that when he moves into a starting role will be a fantasy surprise. But it's not happening here. And when I say starting role, like a real starting role, a lead starting role, not a 3-and-D starting role. So if he ever moves into a spot like that, then yeah, I think he'll be excellent for fantasy. But it's not happening now. So I don't think that you need to... I don't think you need to be holding him, especially if you go like 130 player deep leagues or points leagues. You don't need Cason Wallace. Should we just do a blanket jack? Get that garbage out of here! Kyle Kuzma, yep. What are we doing? See you later. Moussa Diabate, he will have good games. Trying to pick when they are is not something I want to invest myself or my time into, so bye. AJ Green, how was he rostered in enough leagues to be one of the most dropped? I don't get. And then Dillon Brooks. He's been really good. He misses 2 games and people are just quick out of there. All right. I guess this is leagues with limited IL slots. Again, I cannot stress enough. 3 is a minimum that you need. Yahoo just continues to not evolve with anything. 2 center leagues. 1 IL slot. Bruh. Not even IL plus. Yeah, Dillon Brooks, I don't think I would have dropped him. It will be interesting to see what happens when he does play with Jalen Green, and it is frustrating that he is out at the moment, but I would not have dropped him just yet. What about must roster guys? When I'm looking at these, they're just guys, I look at the Basketball Monster roster percentage, they're sitting under 70, and I think they're clear top 100 players at least over the next few weeks. Dante DiVincenzo. Done. Easy. He's starting. Ant Edwards is out. He'll be inconsistent, but who cares? Must roster player. The Thick Hogsman. Tobias Harris. Yes. He's had some bad games to start the year, but a couple of good ones lately. Asar Thompson's also sick now. I think he's fine. I don't think he's a high upside player at all. I don't think he's great. I think he's good enough to be rostering. Aaron Nesmith. Yeah, also, not a particularly sexy option, although last game the usage did rise. Everybody's out. Has to be rostered. John Kuminga was bad last game. It was the old John Kuminga. It was the scary John Kuminga. The bad field goal, the bad free throw, the no assist, the no defense, the no threes John Kuminga. The one that has 0 value in fantasy. But it is only 1 game. The others were good, and he does look better as a player on the court. You can drop him, you can do what you want with him. I wouldn't. And I am not a Kuminga guy. You've heard any of my discussions on Kuminga. I have not liked him as a player at all for 4 years. He does look better. And we have to give credit. We have to change when new information comes through. Now, yesterday makes you want to just revert back to some of your old habits and go, this guy stinks. But for now, he should be rostered. And then Toumani Camara. It's been a really bad start for Camara. But as so often happens, at this time of year when people are overreacting to players stinking and Miles Turner's the worst player in the world and this guy sucks and he can't do anything, just take a look at the shooting percentages before you go off half-cocked, or maybe you're going off full-cocked. I don't know what your cock situation's like, but go and have a look at what the shooting is. And then you take a look and he's shooting 28% on threes, 47% on twos, and from last season, he shot, what did he shoot? 54% on his twos last season and 38 on threes? And as a rookie, 52 and 34. So I feel pretty confident that he's going to be much better than this. Really confident. So I don't worry too much about it. He got a steal a game, 3.5 assists and 5.5 rebounds playing 33 minutes. You do not need to drop Toumani Camara. In fact, I would suggest that you don't drop Toumani Camara. What about some droppable guys? These are just players that just appear too highly rostered for me. There are some guys I could look at that have a high roster number, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense long term, but whatever. For now, they're fine. These three names, if they're on your roster and you're looking to pick up one of the names we've mentioned as an ad, I wouldn't be bothered about dropping Santi Aldama. I think he's fine. He's had some okay games, but look at his role. Not only is Jacques Landale playing at center, they signed another center. Zach Edey is going to return and Brandon Clark is going to return. He's playing like 21, 22 minutes a night, Aldama. And he is not even close to being the per-minute player that can get it done in even 24 or 25 minutes. There's just no point in a 150-player deep league, 12-team league, to bother with him. I don't think it's worth it with Ayo Dosunmu as well. Dosunmu can have good games. Absolutely. He definitely can. But I need to see Dosunmu playing 32 minutes for me to look at him as I love this guy on my team. Because, again, when we're always looking at this stuff, we can say, well, he's the 135th best player, Josh. That makes a lot of sense. And I understand that part of it. But if he is just consistently your worst player with very limited ability to become your 10th best player, why am I bothering? Like, Josh Minott, in the 1% chance that he stays at 25 minutes every game, could be top 100. He could be. Dosunmu, where's the path to doing that? It's going to get worse when Kobe White returns. So where's the path for him getting 33 a night? And maybe you could just say, remove Isaac Okoro. And I'm fully behind that. So maybe you agree with that. I just don't think that what Dosunmu does is valuable enough to hold on to when it's just sort of clogging a spot. And the same goes with Misi. For certain builds, and we can't talk about builds all the time, and go, well, if you're doing this and this and this, giving caveats at every scenario. But like, if you need some rebounds, sure. 1 or 2 blocks, you're never going to average 2 blocks a game, but you need an occasional block, go for it. But as a general rule, Misi should not be rostered, in my opinion, in as many leagues as he is. There are other options they're going to have when Kevon Looney returns. Derek Queen's going to do more. And Misi just isn't it. He's just not good enough in enough areas, and the areas that he is good, he's not good enough in those areas to make them offset the bad areas. So they're just 3 names that I look at and go, oh, that's way too high. Why are you sitting at over 70% on our advanced roster number? It's too high. I don't get it. We'll come back and talk about some hot players, injury replacement guys, all of that stuff. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Rippling. If you are a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make the work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software as a disservice. That is why you need Rippling, which is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. Rippling has helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Rippling removes the bottlenecks and the busy work that can slow your team down. So whether you want to run your entire HR, IT, and finance operations as one, or just fill the gaps in your software stack, Rippling can do it all. And right now you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. Learn more at rippling.com/lockedonnba. That is rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. Today's episode is also brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR and beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. We're talking waiver wire here, and we're going to go into talking about some players who are on a bit of a hot streak to start the season, and whether that stuff is in any way repeatable or repeatable. That's the major word that I'm looking for here. So who are they? Who are the guys that I haven't talked about already that have been surprises for us? And this guy has been a gigantic surprise. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with Jerami Grant. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Grant has started off the season absolutely flying, putting up ridiculous numbers continually, 4 games. But he's a top 50 player. He is a top 70 points league guy. He's averaging over 30 fantasy points. He's only 33% rostered. He's got 23 usage. That's about right. He's averaging 22.5 points a game. How? What? What is he doing? Because one of the issues with Jerami last season, he couldn't shoot at all, and he offered nothing else. Is he offering anything else? Not really. 2 rebounds, 1.5 assists. He is averaging 1.3 steals and 0.8 blocks, so that is a huge step up. But what is important here is he is at 48% on threes and 57% overall. If the steal and blocks, which are notoriously fickle, if they fall back, if the field goals and three-pointers go back to normal levels, he will not be worth it. A 23 usage in 28 minutes off the bench with no rebounds or assists will not be worth it. For now, it is worth it. But I'm giving you the idea or the thought, I guess, or the prediction that he's just not going to be able to hold that level of defense and efficiency. It's just not a thing that I think anyone's realistically going to be able to do, especially not him. What about Jaime Jaquez? He's been ridiculously good to start this season, and while I think that there is a lot of what Jaquez is doing that won't hold, the shooting is through the roof, his 28 to 29 minutes is pretty good at the moment. Now, this could all just die, and I think it probably will, when Tyler Hero is back. But for now, Jaquez, just should be on rosters. Quinton Grimes is, again, with a lot of these guys are just, hey, we're waiting to see what happens when someone returns. So what happens when Paul George plays? What happens when Jared McCain is back? I don't know. Grimes has had good games. He's had a couple of not good ones. We know that he can be a really good player. He is a really good player. And for now, we roster him. He's outperformed what I thought he would do coming off the bench. But we'll see how that sticks. Grayson Allen is a guy that we targeted opening night when Jalen Green was out. He's lived up to it. He continues to roll as a top 100 player. Long term, I don't think it will stick, but we get another opportunity today with maybe Green back and definitely Brooks out. And then we'll see what they do. Because let's be honest, Ryan Dunn's not cutting it. So we can see Allen still get 30 minutes. So he is a guy to have. And then the next guy is, of course, the chicken. Cedric Coward, who I'm not sure is a must roster. I think there's a difference between a must roster and a must grab. You should have grabbed Coward. Even though we look at it and go, I don't know that it's almost certainly not going to stick. We need him to get to 20 usage and 27 or 28 minutes. Because the shooting is not going to stick. He is going to get steals. I'm not sure what else he's going to do, though. Oh, mate, blocks. He blocks shots at a decent rate. And that will fit certain teams. But is the likelihood here that he's going to play 30 minutes? KCP and Jalen Wells are not gigantic impediments. But it hasn't happened yet. Granted, 4 games in. So, at the moment, he is playing really well. Will it hold? I'm not sure. Let's take a look at some injured players. Injury replacement players. Luka's out in LA. LeBron is out. Marcus Smart may or may not be back. But Laravia's been getting good minutes. We talked about Jared Vanderbilt earlier on. Laravia's been getting a role. He just has not shot well at all. And he's got the ability to be a points, rebounds, assists, steals guy. And some threes. He just can't shoot at the moment. I don't mind a short-term stream of Laravia, but it's obviously far from guaranteed. In Indiana, 2 names to look at. Home camcorder legend, Ray J. Dennis. I don't know whether he's going to start. I don't think he will. Will he play over Quinton Jackson? What happens when Johnny Furphy's available? I need the dildo back, man. Like, a sentence that I've never said, only a couple of times in my life, but I need Johnny Furphy to play because there's an opportunity here for him. He's a guy that I talked about as a really weird sort of deeper league stash that I drafted in all my deep leagues, and he hasn't played yet. It's annoying. Like 1 minute in one game. I need Furphy out there. Anyway, Ray J. Dennis, really good game last time. Don't mind streaming him in. It's going to be iffy, and most of these injuries are relatively long-term in Indiana, so he's got a bit of a pathway, and the same goes with the national tile himself, Jarace Walker. Hello! Walker, with topping out, with the other centers being trash, has a chance. He can play backup 3. He can play backup 4. He can play very small ball 5, although the Pacers really don't like doing that. And they do have a lot of centers, and they're all bad, but there are a lot of them. Walker, like Laravia, is a bad shooter. He's worse than Laravia, but he's got the ability to pass and to generate steals and to rebound. He could give you And the comp is terrible from a real-life perspective. Right? The Draymond Green. Right? Because no one is Draymond Green. But the fantasy skill set of 6'7" with a steal and a block is a relatively solid comparison, I think, for Jarace. I'll just throw Con Knippel's name in here, put Colin Sexton there, the big areola replacing Brandon Miller. He is really living on the fact that he's shooting 50% from three, and that will fall away, and then he may not be rosterable after that. But for now, do it. And then Jakob Poeltl is out today with the back. That is not a surprise. Darko Rajakovic says he doesn't think it's long-term. Darko, cool. It's obviously been bothering him for weeks. I think they'll start Sandro Mamakilishvili, but I do think that Murray-Boyles will get 25 minutes or so, and that's another Draymond Green type scenario. He's probably a better scorer, even though he can't shoot at all, but he's more heavily into steals and blocks with some assists and rebounds. And I would prioritize Murray-Boyles, say, over Laravia. Probably over Walker's got more long-term appeal, I think, but I think Murray-Boyles is probably a better player at this point. And then I've got a few more names just to go through, 5 more names to talk about in my other names list. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker just belongs on a roster at this point. He's playing 30 minutes, Ricochet's bad, and he's taking a lot of shots. It can be iffy at times with no, but the Australian no. There you go. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, no. He can get enough value at the moment, I think. Kevin Huerter, when Kobe White comes back, don't worry about it. But for now, Huerter is doing enough to sit on a 12-team roster. He's one of those guys, and I don't have a real term for it, so I'll just continue to explain it. That if you showed me a roster in a 150 deep league and Kevin Huerter was on it, I'd go, okay, all right, whatever. If you showed me a roster and Brook Lopez was on it, I'd go, hey, what's that? Are you okay? What is wrong with you? Get him off your team. But if you showed me Kevin Huerter, I'd go, yeah, that makes sense. And then if you screenshotted me your waiver wire and Kevin Huerter was on there, I'd go, okay, maybe we had him, but maybe there's 3 other guys. So he's just hovering. He's in no man's land, which is okay. He's still under-rostered, though. And I don't think he's being considered enough. Nemesh Cater is just also not rostered enough. And that's a different story to Huerter. He should just be rostered in every 150-player deep league or shallower. Or deeper. Shallower into a 130-player league? Maybe. But it does appear that he's got the nod over Luka Garza. Chris Boucher is Chris Boucher. And the Celtics can go back and forward a lot. But the fact that after last game, a lot of talk from Celtics media to Nemesh. Nemesh was talking back. And they were all speaking as if he had been told that he is the starter. I've worked, done this, and it's really good to know that you're coming in. You've got this starting role, right? He didn't come in and say, like, oh, we'll see what happens. The coach is going to move me back and forth. Everyone seemed to feel like, this is vibes, everyone seemed to feel like that's it. That is his role. He is starting. It won't be rotated. We'll see. I am going to bring up Keldon Johnson here because he's shooting the absolute lights out and some of his numbers look really good. I do not trust it for a single second, but again, if you're talking streaming, looking for some points, it's there. And the last name is not a name, it's stashes. And I had people say, maybe you should do a show talk about all the injured guys you can stash before they come back. And I'll put it this way. I don't think there's anybody. I think that the idea of stashing for the most part is not a good strategy. You could say, well, what about Kobe White? Like, yeah, obviously. But nobody's dropped Kobe White. Jalen Green. Nobody dropped Jalen Green. He is back. The names you're talking about when we're talking stashes, like, TJ McConnell. It might be another 2 weeks. Is that worth it? Or we're talking 3 months for DeJounte Murray or Kyrie Irving or Jason Tatum. That is a waste. That is burning up your spot. Generally, the guys that are available as injured players to stash, it's not going to work out. They're going to be fringy sort of guys, as a general rule, who may or may not have appeal. And I think that it hampers your ability to utilize your IL slot to get other streamers in. It takes away one of the tools that you have in your tool bag to be able to really take advantage. Like, for example, if someone drops Brandon Miller, is that a stash? Like, obviously, yes. If someone drops Jakob Poeltl, do you grab him? Yes. Absolutely. Darren Fox. These guys. Look, yes. Obvious stashes. Kevin Porter. I actually do think that he is a guy that you shouldn't be dropping if he is injured. Benedict Mathurin. Same story. We don't know when he's coming back. Keegan Murray. Probably should be held on to, but, maybe that's the stash that you look at. Someone dropped him and you can go grab him now. But someone like Scoot, where we don't know when he's coming back or what his role is going to be, I'm not sure you want to clog that spot up necessarily. Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen, Jaden Ivey. Who cares? I don't think you need to have that guy in your spot waiting for them to come back. D'Anthony Melton's still 3 weeks away. Is that worth it? Absolutely not. So that's my take on stashes. And I'm definitely not going to get a full show out of that. That's it. That's a waiver wire show. You guys have been here. I've been here. We'll have a preview show and then a recap of all of Wednesday's games coming up later on in the day. Give it a thumb, give it a double bang, audio it, video it, comment, subscribe, hype. Guys, done. See ya.